After another miserable playoff exit last year by the Dallas Cowboys, no one saw this coming. We were all expecting some moves to address the running back position, and head coach Mike McCarthy has come out and basically put all of his eggs in the Rico Dowdle basket. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of Cowboys Digest. Welcome in, everybody, to this inaugural episode of Cowboys Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and today we're going to be talking about Rico Dowdle and how he's expected to line up as the Cowboys open up their season on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. I'm really excited. Hopefully, you guys are really excited too. Hopefully, we can get some Cowboys success this season. That's what I'm really eyeing in on. That's what I want to see this season. I understand that the Cowboys have come up short and they have not done anything in my lifetime, but maybe this will be the year, or maybe the delusion gets the best of us yet again. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button as well and give me your thoughts on the Rico Dowdle situation. But let's get straight into it right here. So, sounds like Cowboys running back Rico Dowdle is the favorite to be RB1. In a room that includes Elliott and Dalvin Cook, Dowdle should be the favorite to lead the Cowboys in rushing attempts and rushing yards this season. Now, last season, I was a pretty big fan of what I saw out of Rico Dowdle in some limited playing time. He was explosive. He showed that he can block and definitely catch out of the backfield as well. Is he a complete back? Is he a superstar back? I wouldn't put him in that category yet, but he's definitely picking up some steam. And in a room that does include Ezekiel Elliott, who in all likelihood his best days are behind him, and then Dalvin Cook as well, who you could say the same thing about. Dowdle seems to be the one that stands alone at the top, and even though he was getting a lot of work in the preseason, I believe that is going to translate itself into a lot of reps in the regular season, and all of that starting on Sunday. I cannot wait to watch the Cowboys take on the Cleveland Browns. But Mike McCarthy talking about running back Rico Dowdle. He's a complete running back, plays all three downs. I think his pass protection from his rookie year to now has become one of his best assets. And as a three-down back, you got to be able to protect, you got to be able to catch the ball, and Rico Dowdle took immense strides in all of those aspects of his game starting last year. So it has been a rise for him, and he's going to be playing a few less special teams, as Mike McCarthy came out and said as well. So he'll have lesser role in special teams just because of workload focus. He's a complete running back, plays all three downs. And Rico stock, it's going up. So if you got a hole to fill on your fantasy roster, I did. I got Rico Dowdle with the last pick in my draft, and he was about 6 or 7% owned at the time. He's now up to around 20. So he figures to be the workhorse. He figures to be the guy to get the majority of the snaps. And I like the addition of Dalvin Cook. It's never a bad thing to have some internal competition in your running back room. But of all those three guys, if you were to ask me who do you want running the ball more consistently, I would have to say Rico Dowdle. I like Zeke in some red zone situations. I like Zeke when you need a yard or two, and he's probably going to go out there and get that for you. And he's a really good run blocker or pass blocker as well. So you have all of those options. I feel like you have three different running backs at your disposal. But if you're asking me about explosivity and guys that can break off a big run, I think Rico Dowdle, even though maybe that's not necessarily his calling card, he's the one out of those three that can go ahead and make a really big play for you. And if you take a look at his stats from the past couple of seasons, you'll see that just not too much action in his rookie year in 2020. Didn't play in 2021, barely played in 2022. And then last year, you could see that he was really starting to figure. He was starting to be a big part of the offense. And Tony Pollard wasn't great last season either, which resulted in Rico Dowdle getting a little bit more run. And in 89 attempts, he got 361 yards, which resulted in about 4 yards a carry, around something like that. So he 4.1 yards per attempt, which is a pretty good number. It's not that explosive, and it's not that big of a sample size either, but Rico is definitely a name to keep an eye on this year heading into the Cowboys season, and for good reason. He's talented, he's got good speed, and like Mike McCarthy said, he can do a little bit of everything. He can catch the ball, he can block for you, and most importantly, he's an explosive runner. Now, it remains to be seen how it all shapes up with injuries and how the line holds up. That's going to be a very big key heading into this season. It's the offensive line who did not do a great job last season. And got Tyler Guyton coming in, the rookie. You got Tyler Smith, who is a year older and a year more experienced. So you got a lot of options if you're the Dallas Cowboys, and Mike McCarthy needs to utilize all of those weapons because they don't have as much talent as they did a year ago. What they do have, though, is, I feel, a more cohesive unit with the return of Trevon Diggs. They got more vets. They got more vets on this team right now. This team is one more year advanced, and they've got one more year of playoff failure under their belt, and they know how it feels. I'm sure they want to win. No one wants to win more than the actual players on the field. At least you'd hope so. That's why they make that exorbitant amount of money. So all us Cowboys fans, we can say that they don't have it. They don't have that dog in them, but I feel like they do. I really feel like they do. And you look at the power rankings that came out, the Cowboys were outside of the top 10 in pretty much every one that I saw. So they're getting disrespected. The expectations are not as high as they have been in years past, and I think that's a good thing. They're always going to be high. They're always going to be expected to do well because they're the Dallas Cowboys. They're America's team, and they got that star on the side of their helmets. But when you have a few less expectations, when you spend a little bit less money in the offseason, maybe people aren't as sold on what you're selling. So the Cowboys, even though they have had playoff failures, and that has been the MO for the past 30 years, I think this year could be a little bit different because the expectations are lower and people are not expecting much of them, and myself included. Like I've been one to sip the Kool-Aid in the past. I've been one to say that this is the year. This is the year where they get it all done, and then we all know what happens after that. It doesn't happen. So it's going to be a long season. There's 17 games to be played. It all starts on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, which is going to be a tough matchup. The Cowboys are actually the underdog heading into that one. And I'm excited, man. I am excited. I'm excited to see what Dak can do in the last year of his contract. As a fourth-round draft pick, he's overcome all the odds to get to where he is. And he gets more hate than any other quarterback in the National Football League, which I don't think should be the case because he's a fourth-round pick. It's not like he was a first overall pick like Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't really succeeded or done anything at the NFL level. So we've got to wait and see on that front. Let's hope the Cowboys can pull out some early season wins and get themselves on the right track. But the expectations are not high, people. They are not high. And people are not expecting the Cowboys to go out there and accomplish anything special. I don't know if they ever are, but this year especially, they're just not in the mix when we're talking about Super Bowl contenders, and the betting odds reflect all of that. But that'll wrap it up for this episode of Cowboys Digest. Thank you guys so much for making it this far. I appreciate you guys giving me a chance here, and hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching, and we're going to be uploading a lot more frequently. I'm not the only one that you're going to be seeing on this platform, but I'm the first one. So make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and give me your thoughts on the Rico Dowdle situation. But if I don't see you today, see you tomorrow.